Good evening, church. You guys have to excuse me. I'm near school, the kids, I've been there, and they're trying to give me their germs. So, I'm trying something new today with my community voice. I usually don't write it first, but I'm trying to have a cohesive running thought. So, we'll try this. Let's hope I actually read it without going on a tangent. So, first I want to share with you some observations I've made in regards to God's love is here. And then I want to share just a small testimony of, where I'm at now in my life. So, it is important to make sure that our lives align with God's will for our lives. Our lives do belong to Him after all. Many times we ask and work for certain things in life, and they can be good things. A home in a certain area, a respected career, financial career. And for many of us, God has these things in our lives. But sometimes when we get what we ask for, it just doesn't fit right. It just still seems like something's missing. These blessings and accomplishments fill emptiness and alleviate our searching, but it doesn't. I have found in my own experiences that much of what I desire, while good things, stem from the wrong motivators. For example, the desires that other people have for my life, desperation, fear, the things I didn't have while growing up, and lastly, guilt. I believe strongholds such as these keep us from experiencing the full, healthy life God has for us. So with that, I want to share how the decision to surrender my fears and try love for me is currently playing my life. I started a talent managed life coaching company about 2.5 months ago. You are thinking, didn't you just get your degree and why would you go this completely different direction? It's just kind of my nature. It just wasn't. I was trying to mold, but it just wasn't resting. And so I've had a desire to start my own company for about 5 to 6 years. And for me, a day in office and meeting after meeting, it's very stifling. It was like I couldn't breathe. And so over the 6 years, there were times the opportunity to start my company for itself, but fear kept me stagnant. Now, stagnation is the worst feeling in the world for me. It's kind of like that old school toy robot. I don't know if you guys remember it. It had like the feet and it walked straight. It was like a straight, and then once it got to the wall, it would keep on the wall, but it couldn't do anything else. And so you literally had to pick it up and turn around, and then it would start walking that straight line again. And then if it got to the wall, it would keep up. Or maybe it might fall over to its face or its back, but it would keep the same steady pace. It would be working just as diligently to move forward. It couldn't. It was just stuck, and it was, working, and it couldn't. And so I kind of want you guys to imagine that. Kind of envision yourself falling on your back or your face and fighting to get up. Everything in you, you're fighting, you're trying to get up, and you can't. You're just stuck there. And for me, that was like the most frustrating thing in the world. It's just like the worst feeling ever. And that's what my professional career has felt like for me. Over the past 10 years, I felt like I'm bumping my head against a wall. I've had great jobs. I've had great impact on the lives of others. But at the end of the day, it's just one thing, right? It's just like, God, it's like, I'm back at this place. And so, once again, I didn't, and as you see, I don't know why I wrote it, because I never really thought I'd read it. But the craziest thing is, I always knew I wasn't like functioning in the area in which God wanted to use me most. And so, throughout my formative years, I knew I wanted to career in the performing arts. Mostly as a performer. I was a dancer formerly for 20 years before I stopped dancing, and I was in theater all of my life. That's really what I thought I was going to do in life. But in high school, I was successfully and unfortunately deterred from any course of study in college that would have allowed me to use what I thought was my most precious God had given me. So, after 10 years, I have my personal wall, my career, just bumping my head against the wall. Only 3 months ago, just as we had to do with the robot, God picked me up and turned me, so I no longer have to bump my head against the wall. And the career path I walk on, no longer a wall at the end. It's filled with opportunities that God chooses to place before me, and there's nothing there that's going to stop me because I'm in His will now. That is the beauty of God. His love leaves us. His love never gives up on us. God's love is displayed daily through the work of the Holy Spirit. I know because His love to me as I stayed up through the night every day for 2 weeks, as the Holy Spirit slowly revealed God's plan for me, when I finally decide to surrender my fear and be obedient to trust God through faith. I know because his love provides for me a husband whom by choice or by default, there's probably a lot of the default, he carries the heavy financial responsibility for the family while I hear, trust, and what God has called me to. And lastly, God's love is there with each frustrating tear that drops, the emptiness I feel from the void of my plans never realized. But most importantly, God's love is here, the daily whispers of the Holy Spirit that remind me that God is able, so I shall be anxious for nothing. For this shall pass, and uncompromised joy will come in the morning. After all, if God be for who is me? Be encouraged, God's love is here, and if we just humble ourselves and pray, surrender our fears, and trust in the call that God has for our lives, he will in turn do a great and mighty work in us. Thank you.